And it's about Annabetta taking her friends on an adventure in the forest. What is the forest? Raise your hand and tell me. What is the forest, or what is a forest? Caleb. Trees are everywhere. Yeah, in the forest. Nazir, your hands need to stay to yourself. In the forest, there are trees everywhere, and sometimes we call the forest the woods. You got it. Now raise your hand and tell me, what are some things you would find in the woods or in the forest? Say it to me. One thing you'd find in the woods. There, right now, you would find snow in the woods. What else would you find in the woods? Mason. Animals. What kind of animals would you see in the woods, Kylan?
Bears.
Bears. What else would you see in the woods, Adelia? See in the woods, Jordan? Bugs. There are lots of bugs that live in the woods. Yep, live under logs and stuff. What else would you see in the woods, London? Foxes. Foxes live in woods. I'm calling on children sitting on their bottoms. DeAndre.
Reindeers.
You would see deer in the woods. One more thing. Prince, what would you see, sweetie? What, honey? Frogs. If there's water nearby, you might see frogs. My sweets, when it gets dark at night, is it easy or hard to see in the woods, Tamia? It's hard because the trees up top make it really hard for the light of the moon to get down to you in the woods. Now, my sweets, Annabetta is taking the children, and they're pretending they're going in an enchanted forest. Enchanted means they're pretending that it is magical. So is this story going to be real? No, they are pretending. All right, listen and enjoy this fun story. It's called Annabetta in the Enchanted Forest. All right, you're sitting on your bottom. There are no pictures for me to show you. It's just words. But your picture comes in your brain. Your brain makes a picture. Caleb, can you sit on your bottom so Tamia can see? You're doing great. It says, one day while walking through the woods, Annabetta said to the super kids, let's pretend this is an enchanted forest. So pretending means it's real or fake, boys and girls?
Fake.
Fake, you got it. Okay, the super kids said. First, Lily said, let's be elephants in the enchanted forest. Do elephants live in the forest?
No.
They began doing an elephant walk by bending over, clasping onto their hands to form elephant trunks, and swinging them from side to side. Awesome. Boys and girls, I want you to do that. You're not going to stand up, but just put your hands together. Pretend it's your elephant trunk. Be very careful. There's people on the carpet. And just gently swing them from side to side. Say, I'm an elephant. All right, put your hands back in your lap. You're pretending to be in the forest with them. Then Oswald suggested they bend their elbows and flap their wings, and all the super kids began flying through the enchanted forest, flapping their elbows and saying, eh, 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 which seemed like a good noise for birds to make. Try that with me. Ready, set, go. Eh, 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 and done. Good. You guys are doing great. Hands are back in your lap. Just then, Annabetta said, look at that enormous egg. And she pointed to a large rock. Raise your hand. What do you think enormous means? If she said, look at that enormous egg, enormous means what, Jaden? Yeah, huge. Is it really an egg? No, it's just a rock. She's pretending. Okay. Wow, said the super kids, and Golly started barking at the huge rock. And all, okay, you guys, wait till I ask you to make sound. Please don't start barking in the middle of my story. All right, I'll ask you if I want you to do that. Golly started barking at the huge rock, and all the super kids tried to make him be quiet. Caleb, you can go back to your seat. I told you not to bark, and then you did it. Go back to your seat. Go back to your seat, please. I'll call you over when you're done barking. While everyone was looking at Golly, Annabetta quietly hid behind the rock. All the super kids were looking at Golly, and now Edabetta's hiding. Do you think they saw her? Oh, watch what happens next. The super kids were so excited that they didn't even notice that Edabetta was gone. Elf said, "What do we do with the egg, Edabetta?" Edabetta? Edabetta! Where's Edabetta? Asked all the super kids. And Doc called out, "Edabetta!" Caleb, please come back and join us. Thank you for being very quiet. Come back. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Came a teeny tiny voice from the forest. Sal called, "Edabetta?" Ooh, 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 answered a little voice, louder, from the enchanted forest. And the super kids began to get frightened. Golly hid behind a tree and covered his eyes with his paws. Raise your hand. What do you think's going to happen next? What's going to happen next, Mason? Edabetta's going to jump out and say what? They're trying to find her, so she might jump out and say, "Here I am, like it was me." Who is making that sound? Edabetta. They didn't see her hide, so she's the one going, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." And they're getting a little scared. But it's really just Edabetta, but they don't know that. Okay, let's see what happens. I love this story. Now Icky called, "Edabetta!" And the voice answered in a deep, loud voice, "Hoo, ooh, ooh." And Golly began to shiver. Then Tick, Tack, and Tock yelled, "Edabetta!" And the voice was still louder. "Who?" And it was coming from behind the enormous egg. Fritz led the super kids. Quietly, they tiptoed up to the egg and called, "Edabetta?" And out jumped Edabetta and yelled, "Boo! Say boo!" And then the super kids laughed and said, "Oh, you." Say silly, Edabetta. Raise your hand and tell me, what trick did Edabetta play on the super kids? What trick did she play on them? Kylan.
She had a scary thing. He scared them.
Yeah, she hid behind the rock and then popped out and scared them. You're right. Okay, my sweets, it says, do you think that was nice of Edabetta to do that? Yeah. To play a trick on her friends? Raise your hand. Was it nice of her to do that? Ryan? No. Why do you say no? You don't think it was nice, but yet you do it to your brother all the time? You silly goose. If it's not nice, then you shouldn't do it to your brother all the time. Do you think it was nice of her to play a trick on them? Yeah. Why is it sometimes nice for someone to play a little trick on you? Because it's fun. Did she hurt them?
No.
No, she didn't hurt them in any way. She was just being silly. So maybe some people don't like that because it makes them too afraid. So sometimes people don't like having tricks played on them. Like my mom, she would not like it if I went and hid and pretended to be gone. My mom would not like that because that would make her afraid and worry. But sometimes other people, like my brothers, I'd hide behind the wall as they were walking up and then I'd jump out and say, "Boo!" And I'd scare them and they liked that and they laughed. Okay? So some people might like you playing a trick and some people might not. All right. Sometimes. Hold on, I'm listening to Adelia. Oh, really? Daddy scared you? That's cute. My love's at home. We're going to take a test here and then play. I did not send the test home with you guys because your grown-ups don't have the directions to read to you. So there's no way for you to take the test. And since you're at home, it really wouldn't be authentic anyway. I couldn't really grade it and give you all the points because you need to be at school doing it all alone. So you guys are done with reading for the rest of the day, and I will see you back at 10:50 for our Valentine's story, okay? Bye, my loves. We're going to take a test here.